And but I am so honored to welcome to Hopewell Church, and all of us, just about all of us, are familiar with Trayvon Martin and in his loss, in the loss of his life, and such a tragic loss of life. And one of the things that stuck out to me during this whole process was the poise, the grace, and the strength the poise, the grace, and the strength that Sybrina Fulton exhibited and put on display for the world to see. And I thank God for her faith in God. I thank God for her faith. And I thank God that I believe that she has given hope to millions of men and women who've gone through the same tragic experience. She has given hope to them and life to them. And so would you stand and give a warm welcome as we do this special Beyond the Well interview, and welcome Miss Sybrina Fulton to Hopewell Church. Would you do that? Would you give her a warm Hopewell Church welcome?
It is another beautiful Sunday morning. Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Well. I am Naomi.
And I'm Malcolm. Beyond the Well is a live interactive broadcast for our social media audience and, of course, everybody in the congregation today. And this Beyond the Well is not like other Beyond the Wells. We have a special guest. It is Sybrina Fulton. We really appreciate the fact that you've joined us today.
Good morning. Thank you.
So, of course, Sybrina is the mother of Trayvon Martin, the unarmed 17-year-old teen who was shot and killed in February of 2012 by Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman. Ms. Fulton, during George Zimmerman's trial, you shared your faith actively on social media platforms, including Twitter. How did you manage to maintain your demeanor, your calm poise, as you interacted with the media and the public during the trial?
I always stayed focused on my son. I always stayed focused on God. Even when, at times, when I didn't believe that God was listening to me, and I felt weak and I felt like it wasn't anything that I could do, he was still there. And at the time, I didn't know it. I felt that God had left me, and I was going to be thrust in this to do this alone. But as time passed, I've learned that he was still there. He was just strengthening me to go to the next step. And so I struggled a lot with it because I didn't want to be the one selected. I didn't want to have to sacrifice my son. I wanted him to pick another mom, somebody else. I wanted him to choose another mom. I'm not the best one for this. And so I struggled with that. And then I remember one time where I was at home and it just happened a few weeks, and I was on the floor crying, and I was like, oh Lord, why me? Everybody says that when something tragic happens to them, they always say, why me? And so I asked God, why me? Why did you select me? And of course, the answer, why not? Why not you? I can strengthen you. I can empower you. I can make you the one. And the more I struggled with it to tell God I wasn't the one, the more he wanted me to be the one. And so one day, I was crying and I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to be around my family and friends. And then I opened up my hand, and all I had in my hand were tears. And I told myself, you're stronger than this. You're better than this. You can do more than this. And I got up from there that day, and that was history. And so he made sure that I was strong enough, because I didn't believe that I was strong enough, that Sybrina was strong enough. And if you have not lost a child before, it's a different type of hurt. It's a different type of pain. A lot of times we lose mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, family members, friends, neighbors. We lose those people, and it hurts. But it's a different type of hurt when it's a child.
Yeah. So there was an article in Time magazine in 2013 about your faith. It described the effect that the tragedy typically has on an individual. Typically, people either run from God or they cling to God in times of a crisis. Now, if there is a significant thing that you learned about God through the trial, what was it?
That he would never leave nor forsake me. I truly believe that, because there were so many times where I felt that he wasn't there. He wasn't there because I didn't feel him. I wasn't feeling him because I didn't feel it myself. I couldn't fathom the fact that God had allowed me to lose a son. But as you know, God gave his son. And so who am I not to And so it was something that's very difficult, and it was something that I would not have done. And I compare myself a lot of times, and I say the strength that people see in me is nothing like the strength of people that's in the military. Because when you're in the military, you sign up for that. You volunteer for that. You sign at the dotted line, and you know that your life may be given to fight for your country. I would not have done that. I would not have sacrificed my son. And so I stand with a lot of people that say they would not have done that. But after it happens, it's a chapter in my life. And I have to recognize it, and I have to embrace it. And I don't know the reason that God selected me and my family, but I do know that he's present, and I do know that he's with me. And I do know that he continues to lift me up. And I'm going to tell you my favorite Bible verse, and it's gotten me through all of these tragic days and the hurtful days and the sad days. It's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path." And even though I may not understand what God is putting me through and my family through and my friends through, he has a bigger purpose. He has a bigger plan, and I just have to be obedient to his will.
And so we remember that Zimmerman was acquitted. Did the outcome of the trial ever change your perspective of God?
No, I don't think it did. It just changed my perspective on how I react. I don't think that I would have such a large voice had he gone to jail for 10 years, 20 years, or whatever. I think that would have been the end of the story, because we would have felt like that's what our justice looked like at the time. But because he did not go to jail, it made us want to fight for other kids, for other young people.
So certainly you've been extremely supportive of other families that have experienced the tragic death of a loved one and of a child. I mean, families like Michael Brown, Jordan Davis, Eric Garner, just to name a few. So what were the conversations like that you had with individuals that were in similar situations, and how were you able to offer them encouragement?
Number one, words cannot express how you feel when you lose a loved one. No one can bring a word to you to bring comfort to you at that time. It's your relationship with God that's going to bring you out of it, and people have to know that. One of the things we do is we surround ourselves with positive and praying people. And that's what we brought to the table when it comes to those families. We make sure that we let them know that you have someone standing with you. You have someone that's supporting you. You have someone that's praying for you. And we reach out to those families not only through our personal endeavors, but also through the foundation, to let them know that you are not alone, that you have somebody that stands with you.
So you just mentioned the foundation. We know that you established the Trayvon Martin Foundation in 2012 with the mission of creating awareness on violent crimes' impact on families, and also providing support and advocacy for those families. So since establishing the foundation in 2012, how has your mission been received in various communities? Do you feel like it's making an impact?
I absolutely think it's making an impact. Like I said, through the Trayvon Martin Foundation, that's what we use to all the anger and disappointment that we had for the justice system. We created the Trayvon Martin Foundation so that we can help other families, so we can try to change the law, so we can organize, so we can protest, whatever way we need to fight. That is the way that it's through the foundation. But another note to the families, we have different programs, and I just encourage you guys to go to the TrayvonMartinFoundation.org and see some of the things that we are doing in the community. Don't just take my word for it. Just go ahead and go on that website and see some of the things that we're doing for the kids, for the mothers, the fathers, and we really reach out to the families. If we have to fly to Chicago or we have to fly to New York, we do that. Even if the foundation is not paying for it, we still have to be there for the families. And we try to get to as many families as possible because we know it's important that they know that they're not standing alone. So the foundation is absolutely doing something positive in our community and other communities out in the United States. And now we went to Switzerland and London. So we're international now.
All right.
I want to talk a little bit more about the foundation. So can you give us a few examples of what you've done so far and what's coming up in the future?
Well, that's the easy part. That's the part I usually smile about. We have what we call is the Trayvon Martin Foundation Remembrance Weekend, and we do that every year in February because we want to remember his birthday. We don't celebrate his death. We celebrate his birth. And so his birthday is February 5th. And every year around February 5th, we've done it for 3 years. This has been our 3rd year. And we have what we call a peace walk and a peace talk. The peace walk is a short distance that our community and our young people walk to let them know that they have a right to walk in peace without being followed, chased, pursued, profiled, or murdered. And at the end of the walk, we have what we call is a peace talk. That's entertainment with a purpose. We have somebody to come out. They may read a poem, they may sing, they may dance, they may do something to empower our young people. And then we have the law enforcement to come out because we want to absolutely bridge our gap between our young people and our community. And so we do that event once a year. We have food, we have just different things for the kids. We have what we call as a game truck. I don't know if you have that here in Jacksonville. Okay, so we have the game truck to come out, and it's just a fun time for the kids. And then we have the fundraiser dinner. It's a sit-down dinner. We've had different people that we've recognized, like Reverend Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Michael Eric Dyson, Jamie Foxx, some of the people that have been instrumental to the foundation, we recognize them at that event. We also, this year, we've had Ayanna Van Zant to come out and be the keynote speaker. So we usually have people to come out to that event, and it's a fundraiser, like I said, and it's a sit down, and it's something to give back to the community. It's something to raise money for our programs that we have. We also have the Circle of Mothers and the Circle of Fathers. The Circle of Mothers is something that is my focus in the foundation. And I bring mothers from all over the United States, and I bring them to Miami, and so they can have some sun and fun. But at the same time, I have a psychologist to come out to kind of get in their head about where they are and how they heal from where they've been. And it kind of opens them up. Because I've learned that women heal better when it's a group of women. You guys heal in a different way. We heal in a different way. And so I find that it's better when women laugh together and we cry together and we heal together. It's better for us. And so That's just the circle of mothers, and then they have a inspirational part where they sewing them back up, you know. And so we also had somebody to come out and do makeovers. So, you know, they not only feel good on the inside, but they look good on the outside. And so then is the Circle of Fathers, is another event that's not that important. Okay, yes it is. Yes it is. That's for the men. That's for the men. Tracy does that event. If you go to the website, it's coming up. I think it's on the 15th and 16th of this month. So, you know, you guys are right down the street from Miami, so this might be something the guys are interested in. But you can go on the website and see what we're doing. What they're trying to do is they're trying to, you know, make men stand up to the plate and do it together and talk about some of these things that a lot of guys don't want to talk about. And then we just had our back to school event yesterday, where we always encourage our young people that this is going to be the best school year ever. And we give out book bags and supplies and everything, and it's a fun day. It's almost like a carnival for them. But they give out books and different things like that. And then,
that's a lot. You've been busy.
We're doing quite
a
bit. Yeah, we do quite a bit. But that's why I asked you guys to take a look at the website so you can see some of the things. I mean, I can't remember everything now because I got so much going on in this little head. You know? But yeah, we're just trying to do what we can for the community. And on a personal level, I try to do what I can as a mother. And so, you know, I do my part. And so I just ask everybody just to do their part.
It's a lot of good work. Now, Ms. Fulton, we know your words are so profound. What advice would you give to other Christians, especially to parents and children, about what you've learned through this tragedy?
I would say that even though when, you know, the atmosphere, your area is gray and cloudy, that God is still there. That, you know, and a lot of people say, you know, even when you don't see him, you know, you can't, you know he's there. And so I always knew he was there. I just didn't know why he selected me, and I didn't know why he was using me, and not just me, but my family as well. And so, you know, a lot of times it's not for us to understand. And I tried to understand all of this and try to make out, well, why this and why this and why did it happen this time? And it's not for me to understand. And I just continue to do what he asked me to do. I continue to do what he lays on my heart. But most importantly, I stay encouraged and stay focused on what I'm doing.
So what can we and what can others do to support you and the mission?
I'm glad you asked that. One of the things is go ahead and take a look at the foundation again, because that's going to be very important to us continuing the movement. It's one thing to get upset about a shooting. Right now, I think we on Sandra Bland, right? Say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we on Sandra Bland, and we've been through Michael Brown, and we've been through Eric Garner and Trayvon Martin and Tamar Rice. We've been through these people. Jordan Davis here, right? We've been through that. Okay, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is just not get upset when this happens, and then you want to do something then. I want you to continue to be upset, because what happens a lot of times is you get upset, you get angry, but then it goes away. But it never goes away for us, because this is our life. You might be watching it on the news and on Facebook and on Twitter, all the social media avenues. You might be watching it, but this is our life. And we asking you, don't give up on our children, because we're still fighting for your children. So if you're not going to give up, that means you're going to get involved. And you're going to get involved in some nonprofit organization that has the same causes and focuses in mind that you can put your time and your efforts into. I can't tell you what that focus looks like. You have to take a look at different organizations. And there are plenty of organizations here in Jacksonville that need your help, that needs your time, that maybe even needs your dollars, you know. And so that's what we have to do. We need to make sure that we connect ourselves with a nonprofit organization that has the same cause in mind, that's fighting for our children. And then another thing that you can do is you can make sure that you vote. Because a lot of times when it's a presidential election, we come out in numbers. But what about when it's a small election, when it's an election that you might not know what's on the ballot, like Stand Your Ground? So we got to make sure we're aware of what's on the ballot and what people are trying to pass by our eyes without us paying attention. You got to know, you got to read your newspaper. You gotta make sure that you're keeping up with the news and what's the topics, what's the issues, what are you voting for? So you can be a part of your own community. You don't want anybody making decisions for your community for you. So you have to make those decisions. And as far as the presidential elections that are coming up soon, make sure we're making a wise decision. Make sure we know what these people have in their heads, even if they don't say it. Because a lot of times they say what we want them to say. They say what we want to hear. And so it makes us think that they're one of us. But sometimes they're not. And so we have to be mindful of what the issues are, and if the issues are going to affect us and how they're going to affect us. Is this going to help me in my daily life, or is this going to hinder me in my daily life? We have to make those decisions. So we have to know who we're voting for and the issues that we're voting on. And then the last thing I want to tell you before I leave is that when you get that little card in the mail that says jury duty, I know I'm not talking to anybody on this side. So let me look over here. No, I'm not talking to this side either. Maybe it's this side. The letter that says jury duty, you've been summoned for jury duty. Embrace that. Don't throw it away and don't think that, okay, I got to think of a reason to get out of jury duty. Because it could have been somebody's son like mine. It could have been somebody's son like yours that needed an open mind that was in the jury pool. And so that's why it's important. It's important for all our children. It's important for all our families, because Trayvon Martin was my son, but it could have been your son. And so I don't want you to wait until it's too late to get involved. I want you guys to fight now. I want you guys to be upset now and do things now.
So we are just about out of time for Beyond the Well. Miss Sybrina Fulton, we cannot thank you enough for being here. Your words, your strength. You are truly, truly an inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hopewell. I love you guys. Thank you.